A very public fracture is tearing through the Republican coalition. The divide centers directly on American foreign policy, specifically the administration's military maneuvers regarding Israel and Iran, and the growing scrutiny over the domestic influence of pro-Israel lobbying groups. This internal rebellion is erupting exactly when party leadership is attempting to rally their voters for the 2026 midterms. We are watching an identity crisis over what the America First ideology actually requires in practice. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson recently announced he cannot, in good conscience, support the Republican Party in 2026. Carlson stated his refusal stems from a belief that the party's leadership places the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens. Sitting members of Congress are echoing that exact sentiment. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly declared she is fed up with what she calls an America Last party. Representative Thomas Massey pointed to the hypocrisy of the government bankrupting the country and funding foreign wars, while largely ignoring domestic problems. When high-profile figures make these statements, they validate a growing suspicion among the populist base that the political establishment has broken its promises to them. To understand the root of this distrust, we have to look at the mechanics of campaign finance and political lobbying. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, operates as a massive political network, using endorsements and significant financial backing to support candidates who favor a strong United States-Israel relationship. Critics argue that allowing this scale of outside spending dictates the direction of American foreign policy. This dynamic is highly visible in races like the Democratic primary between Dan Goldman and Brad Lander in New York, where Lander explicitly swore off taking any AIPAC money as a point of protest. That exact scrutiny over donor influence has now fully crossed the political aisle. Conservative voters are applying a hypercritical lens to their own establishment leaders. This financial reality is crashing directly into the populist America First rhetoric that mobilized the Republican base starting in 2016. The populist argument is straightforward. Preemptive United States military strikes against Iran, conducted largely for Israel's benefit, directly violate their core tenet of isolationism. Promoters of that isolationist view have drawn severe backlash, labeled as conspiracy theorists and anti-Semites. In response, the defectors are holding their ground. They clarify that rejecting the party does not mean they are turning into Democrats. They are simply refusing to support a system they believe betrayed them. Their frustration points directly at recent policy moves, including ongoing international negotiations, the unfreezing of assets, and reports of sanctions relief involving Iran. The America First coalition has officially fractured into two incompatible definitions. One demands absolute domestic isolation, while the other prioritizes the active defense of strategic foreign allies. The pro-Israel interventionist wing of the Republican Party has launched a fierce counteroffensive to defend its foreign policy. Senator Ted Cruz directly attacked Tucker Carlson, publicly labeling him an anti-Semite who hates the party, hates Israel, and sympathizes with foreign dictators. Senator Marco Rubio defended the preemptive military actions, arguing they were necessary, intelligence-driven measures to protect American forces abroad. Commentator Ben Shapiro completely rejected the isolationist stance, demanding a return to peace through strength and slamming populist figures like J.D. Vance for showing weakness on the global stage. To the establishment, these populist isolationists are not principled rebels. They view them as a dangerous liability to American global authority and moral standing. This ideological feud in the media and Congress is already having a measurable impact on the upcoming 2026 midterms. A recent data analysis from the Washington Post tracked voter behavior across primary turnout and special election ballots. This chart shows a stark contrast, a massive surge in Democratic primary turnout alongside a widespread decrease in Republican turnout. Looking closer at the solid Republican districts, the data reveals this severe drop-off is happening even where conservative candidates are heavily favored. These disillusioned voters are generally too conservative to cast a ballot for a Democrat. Instead, they are intentionally staying home to punish the administration. Republican candidates rely on high-intensity turnout from their core supporters to secure narrow victories. If this anti-establishment base stays home, the party's path to winning in 2026 becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. The Republican Party is currently forced to define itself,
choosing between intervention and isolation, donor-driven policy or grassroots demands. For a segment of the coalition, that internal conflict has reached a point where walking away feels like the only viable option.